pockets or my hands in my pockets?
Go for it. Okay. All right. Well, Steve, first we're going to start off with your name and spelling and your title so that we have that on
Sure.
tape.
Name is Steve Wilder, Wilder. Easy to remember. When I was young, I was wild. Now I'm Wilder. And I am the president of CITCA. CITCA is the acronym for the Communications Industry Training and Certification Academy.
Okay. Great. All right.
She loves my Gene Simmons impersonation.
Okay, here we go. This is Kelly Hill with RCR Wireless News. I'm here today with Steve Wilder of CITCA, and we are going to be talking about some of the safety issues that are going on in telecom today. Steve, we had a representative from OSHA here at the NATE conference giving the keynote today. They sent a letter a couple of weeks ago saying that they're going to be putting the industry under additional scrutiny to make sure that safety regulations are being followed in the wake of some of the accidents and deaths in the last couple of years. What impact do you see this additional scrutiny having on training, the demand for training, and the industry?
Well, I think it's going to, first of all, for the good companies out there, the best in class, it's a reaffirmation of what they're doing right, because it's going to be proven that they're doing things right. For the other companies, you're sad to say it, but in reality, in this industry, like any other, there are companies that look for ways to cut corners. And this is going to either force them to start doing things right, or it's going to put them out of business. And we hope it's going to force them to start doing things right, because the number of fatalities that are occurring is an unacceptably high number. And training is a big component of that. But enforcement of safety rules and regs is an equally critical, important role. And if companies aren't doing it, OSHA is going to step in and do it for them. So, I applaud OSHA, and like I said, best in practice companies, they're going to be okay, because it's going to be a reaffirmation. For the other ones, time to pay the piper.
And as far as with your expertise in training, I'm wondering if you can tell us maybe the top 3 things that a tower climber should keep in mind.
My background is, before we started this company, I'm a retired firefighter, and I ran a training division for my department back home. And I used to tell my rookie firefighters the same thing I tell these guys. First thing is, nobody is responsible for your safety except you. When you look in the mirror, you're seeing the person who is responsible for your safety. Don't think that your boss is. Don't think that your company's safety director is. Don't think that the person's out there training you or that's selling you equipment or whatever. You are responsible for your own safety. That's got to go home as a state of mind with them every day. Secondly, don't think because the boss isn't there that you don't have to comply. You're not cheating the boss. You're cheating yourself. You're cheating your family. Nothing good comes from going home in a body bag. And that sounds morbid, but I've buried employees in the fire service, and nothing good comes from it. So, when we talk about that, these guys have to realize that just because the boss isn't there or nobody's looking doesn't mean it's safe to start free climbing. And in the majority of cases, guys are trained properly. They're trained to the highest standards. But then when they get out of sight, or when they get into a unique situation, they think, well, I'll just disconnect for a minute, and that's when the accidents happen. So, it's got to be that you're cheating yourself.
Okay. And as far as, I've totally forgotten my last question. What was our last question?
Need for training.
Need for training. Ah, yes. Okay. All right. So what we'll do is I'll edit it so that those two stay together, and then this one is a separate clip. Steve, can you tell us about the need for ongoing training? A lot of people have been in this industry for a long time, and they can see the need for somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of experience. But what about ongoing training?
Oh, it never quits. Training never ends. And so many times we see guys, they'll come to class, they'll go through the basic core curriculums, and they'll think, okay, now I can go to work and I don't have to worry about this anymore. And that's a fallacy. Training never ends. You've always got changes taking place in the industry. You've got newer and better ways discovered of doing things. And, rescue is a very good example. If you don't use the skills, which we hope you're not using them, but if you go to a class in rescue, you become proficient in the techniques, you demonstrate proficiency in the competencies, and then you don't use it for 18 months. And then you need it. Chances are you're not going to remember it. So, the need for training is ongoing. This is not an industry where you learn it, forget about training, go to work every day, go home and feed the dog. This is an industry where training is an integral part, and it's an everyday part.
Okay, thank you. All right.